Hello and welcome to Effective Evolution. This episode will be with Ceres and the Dawn spacecraft, and also the help of the Cassini spacecraft as well. And some of these picks will involve PIA 19631 and also PIA 20358. As a matter of fact, it will be the moons of the Jupiter system, and also some overlap with the Saturnian system as well. And you'll notice there are some very interesting landforms that have various levels of standing off of the surface of Ceres, and also light sources, which leaves the ideas open to imagination. Let's get right to it. Thank you for your time once again. Evolution. And today we're exploring Ceres. And the Dawn spacecraft came across this tall conical protrusion from the surface of Ceres at about a distance of 1,470 kilometers. And this is located in the southern hemisphere, and it stands at about 6 kilometers up. And we'll be exploring this a bit further. And these would be some of the areas that we're going over. And you could probably notice some remarkable structures already. Very symmetrical. With reflection galore or whatnot. And or another type of light source, possibly. Various instruments of intrigue. And the like. Of Ceres. And this is PIA 20358. Now, the Dawn spacecraft arrived at Ceres on the 6th of March 2015, and this would be a color enhanced version. And if we zoom in a bit, we'll find some interesting structures, and manipulating it a bit with the transformation tools, you'll probably be able to discern some very interesting structures already. Probably notice symmetry. Various geometric patterns of design. Strange concepts pointing up to the atmosphere on Ceres. And the Dawn spacecraft also orbited the protoplanet Vesta for about 14 months in 2011 and 2012. and we'll be exploring these areas a bit more. We're hopping onto the first panorama of Ceres here, which is PIA 19631. That's 19631. This view here, and pay attention to these areas since they are prominence that rise up off of the surface apparently, and adjusting some of the manipulative implements. We get something like this, and you'll probably notice structures that you haven't noticed before, and it is somewhat dim, but of course there's also some more detail here, as you can discern. Shapely seems to be prominence rising up off of the surface on top of this mountain-like plateau on Ceres. And add to that all of the intricate structures around it and at perhaps lower elevation or whatnot, but they're all over the place as usual. And the prominent area that seemed to be emitting a source of light is here as well, of course. Now notice that those bright spots are still there, and now it seems to be a bit bright, enhanced, and you can see that there are certain symmetrical linear patterns all over the place. Now, is this simply a reflection from some object like the sun, or is it an internal light source? And is Ceres some type of spaceship? Like Comet 67? We spend some time on this and go over all of the intricate designs, patterns, landform architecture, whatnot, and structures on top of this rising mountain-like plateau as well. We're going to go over some particulars with regards to this area here, and we'll rotate around a bit and find out if there's any more interesting details to proliferate. And also, zooming in on it, we get this type of view. And if we adjust the transformation devices, you can probably see some structures popping in more detail, i.e. elevation, geometrical patterns, curves, linear patterns with depth and shadow in them, straight lines, and the bright areas on this side, since we rotated it this way. And is this made, or is it the work of nature? Familiar question. Amazing detail. Structures in the shadowy part as well. Ceres. We're going to have a gander at the crater on Ceres. And zooming in a bit, we get this. You can also rotate around a bit as well if you'd like. And using the manipulative tools, we notice some very interesting symmetry. Linear patterns, geometrical shapes. This concentric circle has shadows and elevated points. Very interesting structure. Just notice the linear patterns here, and if we implement the shadow tool, you can see some very interesting areas that seem to rise and elevate structures around this particular area as well. And with this panorama, it's very interesting to notice the amazing patterns and shapes and design. This is plant architecture. Conclusion. You must admit that the various mountain structures are quite astonishing on Ceres, as well as the light sources or whatnot. And could this be a spaceship? You'll have to come up with some ideas regarding that, and of course, it's always open to the imagination or whatnot. And you must admit that the various structures that we've just gone over do leave the imagination quite open. And until next time, thank you once again for your time on effective evolution. Thank you for your time.